What if last night's leftovers could quietly become tomorrow's garden boost without smell, mess, or fruit flies? Stick around to see which countertop composter actually makes that happen and which ones just make noise. Each pick is ranked from 7 to 1, with critical notes leveled at the earlier products where they fall short and steadily more positive impressions as the list reaches the top performers in everyday kitchens. 7. Vitamix FC50. The Vitamix FC50 is a compact electric food recycler that hits the fundamentals. It dries and grinds scraps, reduces volume dramatically, and contains odors well, with a carbon filter lid and a tight, countertop-friendly design. The unit's footprint is manageable at about 12.6 by 11 by 14.2 inches, and the removable bucket makes it easy to stage scraps through the day before running a cycle with a single button press. Simple, predictable, and low fuss. In practice, the odor control is better than expected for a starter unit, and the dishwasher-safe bucket reduces the ick factor that scares many people away from traditional composting. Power draw is rated at 500 watts with 120 volts per 60 Hz, and the capacity is roughly 2.5 liters, about 10.5 cups, which suits couples or small households who want convenience over sheer throughput. The result is a fine, dry output that stores neatly and can be mixed into soil later, especially helpful for balcony gardeners who want to cut trash volume while creating a soil amendment over time. There are some drawbacks that became noticeable with repeated use, especially when compared to larger, newer models. The capacity can feel limiting for families that cook daily, leading to multiple runs that add up in time and electricity over a week. Filters eventually need replacement, and while the odor control is good for its class, the smaller bucket encourages frequent cycling, which can feel a bit always on if cooking happens in batches. Number 6. Airthereal Revive Electric Kitchen Composter. Airthereal Revive positions itself as an accessible, value-forward countertop composter with a 2.50, a Shark's Den tri-blade grinding setup, and a claimed processing time of around 2 7-hours depending on load. The dimensions, 12.5 by 10 by 12.5 inches, keep it compact, and the sub-60 dB noise rating holds up. This unit blends into typical kitchen background sound better than most, which is great when cycles run after dinner. Energy usage per cycle is in the ballpark of 1.6 kilowatt-hours per third-party testing, which is reasonable for small loads, and odor is managed with activated carbon filtration that's easy to understand and replace. In use, it accepts a broad range of scraps, fruits, veggies, soft bones, meat scraps, coffee grounds, making it handy for households that don't want to think too hard about what goes in. For newcomers to electric composting, the Airthereal's straightforward lock lid mechanism and quick cool down are confidence boosters, and the dry, reduced output is clean to handle and store. Where it falls short is in throughput and consistency on the heaviest or greasiest loads. With only 2.5 liters capacity, meal prep or family nights can require back-to-back cycles, and the 2 7-hour range tends to skew longer for mixed inputs with moisture or fat. The activated carbon filter does its job, but heavy onion garlic mixes or seafood scraps can linger faintly when the lid opens, which is common in this category, but noteworthy in small spaces. Five. Eco. 5. Eco 5 steps up capacity to 5 liters, making it immediately more practical for families or anyone who cooks frequently and wants fewer daily cycles. The Vortec grinding system and 4 9-hour cycle window handle mixed kitchen waste reliably, turning it into a fine, dry foodalizer that stores neatly and blends well into potting mixes or garden soil later. A highlight is the refillable filter design. Rather than pitching entire filters, the carbon pellets can be topped up, reducing ongoing costs and waste while maintaining odor control. Per the manufacturer, typical energy use is around 1.5 kilowatt-hours per cycle, which is reasonable given the larger volume and deeper drying phases, especially if cycling overnight. The unit is purpose-built for larger households, with the design intent to minimize scraps sitting around waiting for the next run, something that's palpable when the bucket swallows a full day's leftovers without fuss. In hands-on terms, Eco 5 feels like the grown-up iteration of earlier compact models. Fewer midweek cycles, less counter clutter, and better odor containment thanks to the larger filter media volume. Users who've bounced off smaller buckets will appreciate that it keeps pace with real-life, big salads, family dinners, and weekend batch cooking without becoming a chore. The output is consistently dry and finely milled, which helps prevent clumping in storage containers and reduces any residual smell when opening the bucket post-cycle. If there's a practical consideration, it's that fuller, wetter loads usually push closer to the 9-hour mark, so planning overnight cycles is smart for quiet kitchens. Number 4. Reencle Home Composter. Reencle takes a different tack from dehydration first units by emphasizing active microbial decomposition with robust odor management, using a form-fitting lid and a multi-layer filter system to keep the kitchen experience clean. Operating at thermophilic temperatures around 55 to 60 degrees Celsius supports the system's microbes while dampening harmful bacteria, a thoughtful design choice for households that want an always-on bin that digests scraps continuously. In daily use, this translates to a drop-in workflow. Open the lid, add waste, close, and let the machine maintain the environment with aerobic processing that avoids the sulfurous notes associated with anaerobic rot. The result is a more biologically active material, suitable for gardeners who prefer microbe-rich output, with filter maintenance scheduled roughly every 9 to 12 months, depending on load. The experience feels closer to tending a living system than batch running a dryer grinder, which some sustainability-minded households will love for its continuity and minimal appliance feel. What stands out is the smell profile. With the lid closed, odor stays controlled. When opening to add or remove material, there's a natural earthy note that's expected from aerobic decomposition and far milder than trash bin funk. The filter access is straightforward, with top slot replacement designed for easy maintenance, and tips like rinsing sauces off scraps help extend microbe and filter life. For frequent cooks, Reencle's continuous feed style means less scheduling and more flow, making it easier to build the habit. Three, Eco 3. Eco 3 is the compact sibling of Eco 5, designed for 1 to 3 person households or anyone with lighter food waste, with a 3.5-liter bucket and the same Vortec grinding and 4 9-hour cycle range. It uses only about 0.9 kilowatt-hours per cycle, a notable efficiency edge in the category, particularly for apartments aiming to keep bills and environmental impact down. Like Eco 5, it offers refillable carbon filters, a meaningful long-term advantage for both cost and waste reduction compared to throwaway filters. The output is again a dry, fine foodalizer that stores easily and blends into soil mixes without clumping, making it friendly for balcony gardeners and houseplant enthusiasts. The design is sleek and counter-friendly, helping it live on the counter instead of getting relegated to a garage shelf, a subtle factor that increases actual daily use. In real terms, Eco 3 shines where space is precious, but quality matters. Think studio apartments and minimalist kitchens where a larger bin would be visually or physically intrusive. The 3.5-liter capacity is a noticeable bump over 2.5-liter entry units, cutting weekly cycles while staying small enough to keep visible and top of mind for action. Noise and odor control are both solid for the category. The grind phase is audible but damped, and the carbon media is easy to refresh. The energy profile is a plus in regions with higher electricity tariffs, and overnight runs finish before morning cleanup, even on heavier loads. 2. Lomi, food recycler. Lomi has become a household name in this space for good reason. It offers 3 distinct modes, Eco Express, Lomi Approved, and Grow, that trade speed for biological vitality and flexibility with bioplastics. Eco Express runs about 3 to 6 hours in claims and around 6 hours in many real tests, making it the go-to for nightly cycles that shrink waste quickly. Lomi Approved mode handles select compostable bioplastics with guidance to keep those to 10% of the load, which is realistic for kitchen flows that are mostly food. Grow mode, at 16 to 20 hours, runs cooler to preserve beneficial microbes, especially when using Lomi pods, producing an output better suited for gardeners who want to feed soil biology rather than just reduce volume. The single-button interface keeps operation intuitive. Long press to switch modes, quick press to run, no app required to get great results. The most honest way to view Lomi's output is as a pre-compost. The company recommends mixing it with regular soil at about a 10-to-1 ratio, and that's a practical guideline for houseplants and planters. In use, the combination of heat, aeration, and grinding produces a consistent texture that stores cleanly and rarely smells when the lid opens after cooldown. Where Lomi excels is user confidence and clarity. The mode names map to real needs: fast shrink, bioplastic flexibility, or garden-friendly biology, and make it easy to pick the right trade-off on a given night. For mixed households that sometimes want speed and other times want a more soil-ready output, that flexibility is worth a high placement. Number 1. Mill Food Recycler. Mill reimagines the category by acting like a smart, odor-controlled kitchen bin that dries, shrinks, and deodorizes scraps automatically, then closes the loop through a program that repurposes the dried grounds, ultimately supporting animal feed, not just garden soil. Smart sensors and adaptive algorithms determine when to run and for how long, even if waste is added mid-cycle, so the unit feels less like a machine to operate and more like a bin that manages itself quietly in the background. The daily use ergonomics are excellent. A foot pedal, big internal volume, and serious odor control transform the annoyance of smelly trash days into an almost invisible routine. The program options include owning the unit outright or joining a membership that covers shipments of the dried grounds back to mill, folding convenience and measurable impact into one system. For households that care about reducing landfill emissions and want a frictionless workflow, Mill's Set and Forget design is the closest thing to a true kitchen replacement for a regular trash can, only smarter and cleaner. The subscription framing deserves attention. Estimates put monthly costs roughly in the $33 to $68 range, depending on plan and services, with annual around $396, which compares favorably to many compost pickup services while providing a more direct pathway to repurposing as animal feed. Mill's approach minimizes timing decisions. No, should we run a cycle tonight? Because the machine handles scheduling via sensors and algorithms. Final takeaway. If choosing just one all-around pick for busy homes, the Mill stands out for its smart automation and closed-loop program. For a pure countertop composter with garden-friendly output options, Lomi offers the most versatile modes. For compact efficiency and refillable filters, Eco 3 and Eco 5 make everyday composting feel truly frictionless.